What's up, everybody? It is I once again, Coach Dominic Frazier, with my beautiful co-host Kiani Adams, and we are bringing you another episode of the No BS Fitness Prescription Podcast. On today's episode, we have a special guest. We have Coach Elena Green, the founder of EG Fit, and we are just going to do an overview Q&A, deep dive, and get to know a lot more about her and her journey in the fitness industry and everything that she has to offer. Today's show is not sponsored by Legion, right? Get your high quality supplements from your protein shakes to your thermogenics and more. So, Kiani, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Can't complain besides the rain and the cold, but I'm good. How are
It's
you?
pretty cold and sunny over here in Metro Detroit, but nonetheless, we're going to make it happen. Coach E, what's going on?
What's up, y'all? Everything is good over here in Georgia. Nice and sunny. Ready to come in here and talk no BS with y'all. Excited to be here on this podcast as well. And yeah, let's have some fun.
Yeah, we're
Let's do it.
definitely excited to have you. Of course, we've been following you for a while. We've been friends for a while. We met, I think it was before Instagram. We met in one of the Black fitness clubs on Facebook, and
Yes.
it's been comedic conversations ever since. You have definitely some great funny content, but even through your content, you show the world what fitness is all about.
Yes.
All right. So tell us a little bit on how you got started. What is EG Fit?
Well, EG Fit, I'll go back to the beginning of my personal journey because I like to tell my story just a little bit so that it can relate to women that may be in the situation that I was before I became any of what the world you guys see now. I started my journey at 300 pounds as a mom of 4 at the time. I have 5 children now. I was just, sick and tired of being sick and tired of my excuses, all the stuff, all the sad stories that we hear. And then I just decided to do something about it after trying a million things, spent a lot of money on stuff that really didn't work, and just really honing in and locking in on consistency and my habits. And then long story short, I stayed with it, lost a lot of weight, built my body, my mind, that mental grit. And then from there, from that space of, okay, now I got to go and save other women that were in the same space that I was and confused. I started out of rage because I was really upset. I felt like I had been lied to for so long and it kept me stuck. So I believe in the idea, pay it forward. And that's where EG Fit started for me. So just going and helping women to get out of that rut, that mental rut, and showing them simple ways to achieve their goals and removing the confusion. So that's where it started for me. And it became more than I ever thought it could be or would be because I was just here to help. But that's where it started for me. And then from there, all the hard work that us coaches have to do to get certified, to learn, to gain more knowledge so that we can really help people from the foundation and build a real foundation of habits and lose weight for life, build bodies for life, all that stuff. So that's where it started for me.
Oh, so pretty much what you're saying, 30 days to a new you, and that was it. Got it. No,
I have a question.
Just joking. Go ahead.
So you mentioned you were tired of doing things that weren't working. What were those things?
Ooh, girl. Let me take Kiana, listen. I always make jokes about this stuff in Tribe EG Fit because a lot of women that come in, they do a lot of the stuff that really doesn't work because our focus is dieting, and that's what we've been sold for years. I did all the fast, all the cleanses, all the starving. I think the craziest thing I ever did was a military diet. I did HCG when that one's out. All the stuff that starved me basically is what I did, right? I worked sometimes. I did programs where I work out a few times a day trying to burn calories, wrapping myself in saran wrap, drinking apple cider vinegar and cayenne pepper. I almost killed myself one time. Like it just, just stuff. Anything I saw that was like melt this fat fast, keyword, if it had fast on it, coach did it. Okay. And sure, you'll see a drop on the scale, but it wasn't fat. The body didn't change. You know what I mean? And that was the difference. And again, this was all mindset, not really trying to avoid the hard work, because deep down we know that we have to do the work. We just, anything that we can do to avoid that. But yeah, way more stuff than I just mentioned. But to say it was a hot mess, and it never produced me long-term results, or I couldn't adhere to it. It wasn't sustainable. This wasn't realistic for life. And I think that a lot of women get into that rut because we're avoiding the work, which is actually simple work when you get in there and do it. It's like, oh, I can do this, no problem. It's just that patience and consistency, mainly the patience, wanting those results tomorrow, that gets us stuck. Don't judge me.
Okay,
Judge your mother. Don't judge her.
I mean, even though we're super early into the podcast, you pretty much broke it down to no matter what, right? It comes down to doing the work.
Yes.
Getting out of your own way, your habits, and long-term consistency.
Yes.
Right. Yes. So the body that you have now took time.
Yes.
Right. Took time, took dedication, took hard work, took repetitive reps of you doing the same thing over and over and over.
Yes. Mastering the basics. I think that, well, I don't think, I know that's the biggest obstacle with so many, especially with social media, how it is now. You can see it before and after, and you create this illusion or in your mind, but you don't see the between the before and after, right? Because the mind, we're visual beings, right? We're visual. So once we see, we're like, oh, but nobody accounts for life happening in that space in between. So when you get in there, you're doing it, and you're like solo dream. Anybody that comes into EG Fit, I'm going to tell you straight up, like, look, you're going to work. It's going to take time, because I need to tell you what to expect up front. I'm not for to sell you a dream. You're going to work. It's going to be hard. You're going to have some obstacles. You're going to fall, scrape your knee. Coach don't care. I don't care. What I care is what you do after the obstacles, after you fall and scrape the knee. But I set the tone from the very beginning. Like, this is what to expect, because when those things arise, you're not going to be surprised. You're like, Coach already told me this was going to happen, right? But if we can get over the how long it's going to take, the microwave mindset, then you'll set yourself up for far more success. And just be real with yourself. You know you're not going to be perfect. You know you're going to mess some stuff up. But you got to be honest, like completely honest with yourself as to how you got here, taking accountability and ownership for all your crap, and then moving forward.
Right. I like to try to tell people, like, you have to be open and honest and okay with the journey that you're on and where you are at right now.
Yes.
What you did in high school or what you did in college, cool, but that shit really doesn't matter.
Correct.
Because you need the help now, and you want to do those things, but you have roadblocks, right? Point blank simple. Like, you have those roadblocks that you mentally have to overcome. And the only way that you can overcome them is by putting one foot in front of the other. And like you said, doing the work, right? So, yeah. So tell us a little bit about, what is your main demographic of clientele that you work with?
I only coach women currently here at EG Fit, and I coach women from 35 all the way up until like 70. My oldest client was 80, and she lost 40 pounds, way after all the stuff that women make excuses about not being able to lose. And
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, I invite those clients because for me, I'm like, I need you to see it. Like, I need you to see what this actually looks like. So I don't negate that experiences or certain conditions are real at certain points in life, but I need you to see how much your habits control your outcome, period. So yeah, I don't care if you're 90. You what? Tell me what you want to do. Okay, cool. Because the foundation does not change. And that's what I want people to understand. That foundation does not change. How we get there, we might have to, tweak a little bit of stuff to get you to that goal based on where you are and your needs. But that foundation never changed for no one. And that's the whole point. But that's my demographic of women that I coach.
Okay, the
When
foundation
people,
never changes. I like that. Earlier in the week, I was on a coaching call as I'm going through getting board certified in nutrition, and we were talking about, like, I use the analogy of, you know getting in a car and going on a journey. Right? We're all coaches, and it's like when somebody comes to us, if we use that analogy, right? You're driving the car. Us as coaches, we're just the GPS because
Yep.
we see things from a different lens and we see it clearer than you do. Every roadmap and bump that you have on your journey, we have the tools to help you overcome that. May
Yes.
not look like what you thought it was going to look like,
Hmm.
but the way that we are shaping you to do it is probably the best way possible. So the biggest thing that I took away is you said that, mastering the basics and the foundation. So I want to jump right into this one, and let's talk about, since you primarily work with women as well, the dreaded perimenopause and menopause, right? Let's just go right there. How do you deal with a lot of the clients, and of course the information that's out there, where a lot of people just think, oh, I have this, I can't do this anymore?
Yeah.
How do you help people overcome that?
Well, first, I always empathize, right? Because being a middle-aged woman myself, of course, I understand. So I'm always going to empathize and understand where they are coming from. But at the same time, I'm also going to tell them you're not a victim. I'm a very straightforward, transparent coach. So if you're going to come, just be ready for me to tell you you're not a victim. Now, I also help them understand that yes, you may be in perimenopause, you may be in menopause. These things are fact, these things are true. So from here, what are we going to do about it? Because we can't
No.
keep saying, I can't because I have this and that. Because again, you have a victim mindset. This means that you are putting those things above your habits that you probably didn't have anyway before you even enter that stage. Which you're entering that stage, you didn't have the habit, so it makes it a little bit more challenging, right? So I have clients, sorry, my baby just came in. I have clients that um enter perimenopause while in EG Fit, that built that foundation, and what they see is completely different because they've already had that foundation. So once we establish that, then I implement things that's going to not alleviate the symptoms of being in that stage in life, but make it better, right?
Mhm.
Better sleep. We know that how strength training, getting a proper rest, getting enough fiber, making sure we're moving, walking, drinking water, all these things help with those symptoms, right? Of menopause, perimenopause. So you're going to have your share of things that you face day to day. However, if we're doing the foundational things, the basic things like the strength training, building muscle, eating well, then you're not going to experience those symptoms as much. And if fat loss is your goal, we already know the foundation of that is being a negative energy balance, right? We already know that. We've established that, but it doesn't mean starving yourself. I think a lot of women take the wrong approach from a victim mindset because I got to lose his weight and I need to lose it now. And oh my God, I'm here. But your mindset was the same before you even got here. Your habits were the same before you even got here. So that's the biggest point we have to address. Meeting you where you are with the knowledge that you have, and then building the habits on from there. That's how I approach it. But I always
no,
empathize because I understand as someone that is again a middle-aged woman also.
yeah, I think that plays a big role in being able to help that demographic, because I think online, like, I'm seeing a lot of menopause content, and in the comments is where the juicy stuff is. And then you always have people who are like, how are you going to speak on this when you're not in it? So I think that gives you a bonus. Not saying you need to be in that
Right.
part of your life to do that, but I think it does make a big difference working with
Yeah.
that population.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask about that was, do you find that there's certain mindsets outside of the victim mindset, but certain mindsets or false beliefs that people approach you with when it comes to the menopause phase, like doing certain type of workouts, eating certain types of diets? Like, what do you see coming up a lot?
For what I've experienced with a lot of women is they just really think it's just no hope, and that's just this pivotal moment in life where it doesn't matter what you do, it's just not going to happen, period. That's the biggest roadblock. And letting them know like this isn't true, but it's based on the content and the things that they consume, right? If everywhere you look, you're seeing, okay, well, the best thing for you to do is not to eat, or the best thing for you to do is just fast, or wear a weighted vest. Like, it just causes
Ooh, bingo.
Wait.
Keep going. We can come back to the weighted vest.
No, if you got a weighted vest and you watch it, this coach ain't saying nothing, but I'm just saying it ain't gonna do what you think it's gonna do. Okay,
nah,
I'll put it out there. Okay. Anywho, but I that's the biggest thing, because it's been such a dreaded thing, and for a long time, this wasn't a topic that was discussed on a social level, right? So a lot of women don't even know about their bodies. They're just experiencing the symptoms of it. And they said it's no hope. And then when you go in the comment section, everybody else is saying, oh my God, there is no hope. Like, that's really the biggest thing. Not necessarily a certain diet per se, but I think that's the limiting belief or mindset that a lot of women hold whenever they come into or introduced to me or my way of teaching or EG Fit. And for me, I'm like, yeah, that's not true. So then I go and show them, these are women way beyond your age that have lost 100 pounds while being in this space. So if they can do this, why not you? But we need, it's the basic, it's the foundation, because that stuff is never going to change, you know? So that's really the biggest thing. It's just the belief, not necessarily, oh, this diet is the best, which I've seen all kinds of stuff. Obviously we have as coaches, but that's the biggest belief that a lot of women hold. But let me plug this in here. They're also not taking into account what they have been doing before the stage, right? So for the last 5 years, if you've been eating like, I don't know if we can curse, but if you've been eating shit, okay, you haven't been strength training, you haven't been prioritizing your health, of course, when you get to perimenopause, you're going to feel like shit and probably look like it too.
Straight doo-doo.
This is true. So they don't take into account where they are and what they've been doing, because we are a sum of what we've been doing. What you see now is a manifestation and a sum of what we've been participating in doing, right? For the last 5 years up into the stage. So a lot are coming in under muscle, poor eating habits, poor sleep patterns, low fiber, low protein, right? And so now you're starting here with this condition that is very real. So we have to understand that we're starting here and meet ourselves where we're at with a lot of grace, okay, and ownership and accountability. And then you build from there. But without that piece, you're going to struggle.
Yeah. Well, I want to say I definitely thank you for that aspect, because of course, like, a lot of people know I work with athletes, but primarily I work with women as well. And I don't go through menopause or perimenopause. So a lot of people, like you said, are like, how can you talk about it? Majority of my clients are women. Majority of my fitness friends are people like you and Kiani that are women that I can bounce ideas off of. And I've also gotten the education. But the biggest things that you said were, people have to take a better, I guess I would say, acceptance of where they currently are. And the fact that where you are now, where you're trying to go, may take longer than you thought, but that the journey is worth it.
Yes.
Right? You may have done all this crazy shit last year to lose 15 pounds and truly fucked up what you were trying to do to go forward. So now you got to be able to give yourself a little grace and know, like, hey, these next 12 weeks, let's just work on sleep. You only get 3 hours. Let's fix that. Right. And then you made a good point on the protein. I know we're a little over obsessed with protein in society right now, but I think people don't understand that why we push protein so heavy is because from dietary standards, we undereat protein as a collective.
Yes.
So as we try to tell you eat more, it's really only to get most people to baseline.
Yes.
And we know that as we get older, men and women, we don't eat as much protein anymore because we don't eat as often either.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you made some very, very good points. And I hope that the viewers can appreciate and accept how you broke those things down, that it still comes back to the habits.
Yes.
And habits are a learned thing.
Mm-hmm.
People always want to say, oh, I'm gonna come to you later when I gotta get started, or I need a kickstart, or I gotta get my habits in order. Habits are a learned thing. Like, you have to be taught.
Yes.
And normally, just like school, you're taught those things by somebody that knows more, or somebody, like we said, sees everything that you're trying to do from a different viewpoint and a different lens.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's all about appreciating going through the journey.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. I think if people can grasp this concept, then it just makes it a lot easier. And I had to do this with myself because I have an A-type personality. I like to get in there. I need to learn it. I need to be out like that. But I had to learn, again, meeting myself where I was at and building up the momentum. No good coach will expect a client to go from 0 to 100. We know what the end goal is. We know where we want to get you to, but that doesn't mean that the expectation is just to get there tomorrow, right? So
right.
you might be only eating 50 grams of protein a day now when you become mindful and aware of what you're doing. But it doesn't mean you have to go from 50 grams to 150 grams of protein or 100 grams. You can add 10 grams of protein a day. 50 grams of protein, it doesn't matter. It's what you're building up to. And a lot of what I see a lot of is no one wants to take the time to grow. It's that growing stage that seems to be the most difficult because, God, I just want it now. No. If you give yourself time to build up the momentum, this will alleviate a lot of the unnecessary stress. It's when you try to go from 0 to 100 where you get into a pickle. And now you're overwhelmed. Then we know what the overwhelm leads to slowing down. And then eventually you're going to quit because it's too hard. Well, that's not the goal. The goal, again, is to build the habits consistently over time until you're there. Because when you get there, then it'll just be a lifestyle. This is just what I do. But I think if people can remove that mental expectation that I have to be perfect and I have to nail it now or I'm not going to see any results or progress, because you can see progress on 50% effort or consistency, right? Eventually you'll get to 75 and 80 and you'll be smooth sailing, but you have to allow yourself to build that momentum. And it's okay to be a beginner, because even as coaches, we're always learning. And I make that very clear. I'm forever a student. There's stuff that come out, studies, that I don't even know, new stuff all the time. So we're always a student. We're always learning. We're always evolving. We're always growing. It doesn't end, but it does become easier if you allow yourself to build up the momentum and you can adapt that mindset, right? And I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, the analogy I always like to give people is like, if you got to view it as a marathon, but if you were going to run a marathon, you're not going to start out sprinting. And I think a lot of people fail because they're trying to run 26 miles while they're sprinting. So I think once you, like you said, once you get over that like mental expectation of, hey, it needs to take me this amount of time, I think then that's when you start to get buy-in, and then you start to see like the small changes in whatever you're looking to improve. But I also think social media plays a role in that as well. So I think it's really, really key, and it's great that you're like very transparent with your clients or anybody that's even thinking about your program, because you have a lot of people who are putting deceiving timelines out there, and then people are enrolling in the program and they're like, hey, I didn't get the results. Like, why would you expect to? Like, you're not going to lose 100 pounds in 90 days,
right?
Just because that transformation showed that. Like, we have to have some type of discernment. So I think it's good that coaches are being more transparent, but I also think people need to like have discernment as well.
Right.
Yes.
So I think that's one of the biggest things. I have a question for you regarding like your personal journey. Have you ever, like, you coach, it seems like you coach people really well, but have you ever been coached before?
When I thought about competing in a physique competition, I did have a coach. This was, I think I was already down 100 pounds by myself, just doing what actually made sense to my brain.
Yeah.
When I got over my ego and was like, girl, you just gonna have to do this work. So yes, I did have a coach for a few months. This was around the time when COVID hit. I never stepped on stage, but I followed the protocol because I said I was gonna do it. I was gonna finish the pro. I was gonna do that. So I finished it, and then so I did have a coach for about 4 months or so during my journey. Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's dope. Do you feel like it was beneficial for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Coach is always going to have, okay, let me tell you, anytime you're stepping in an unfamiliar space or territory, having a coach is always going to be, in my opinion, the best option, because chances are they've already been there, done that. They have a lens to look through that you haven't looked through. So no, absolutely beneficial. And the accountability is all, for me, it was just the accountability because somebody's watching me. So I can't even slip up at this point. You know, you're sitting, you're in a girl, you got to take this bikini picture every week. You can't be out trying to do a burger and shit, like, you know, they know what it looks like. Okay?
Right.
So if you even think about it, so even if I even thought about it, he gonna be able to tell, like, girl, you look a little fluffy, had a little bit of sodium, a little extra. Yeah, you did. Didn't they have that broccoli and chicken breasts? But so yes, very beneficial. And even now, with us, we always have people that are at levels in their careers that we look up to, that we take guidance from, that's been into rooms and places that we desire to go. And that's why I said forever a student, always learning. But yeah, I think if anybody can afford a coach, especially if they've already been where you are trying to go, absolutely, hands down. Yes. Especially for the accountability piece.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that because I posted I work with a coach, and somebody commented. I got like three comments, and they were like, "Why do you work with a coach?" And I was like, "I know what I need to do. Like, I'm not naive to that. I just think I benefit from accountability and having somebody look at it from an objective lens. Because no matter how disciplined you are, I feel like there's always blind spots that you can't see.
Yes.
All good coaches, as we know, all good coaches have coaches, right? Yeah. You always, like you said, you always got to have a growth mindset over a fixed mindset.
Yes.
And there aren't too many high performers out there in the world that don't have a coach for something.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, it makes your life easier. It's one less thing you have to worry about. But like you said, that accountability is everything. So it baffles me sometimes when it's like us coaches, when people are like, "Oh no, I just need an accountability partner. I just need somebody to work, a friend. I could do it my own. I used to play football, or I played on the volleyball team back in '82.
But you had a coach then too.
Right.
But my thing with the accountability partner, the accountability partner thing blows my mind, because it's like, when you have an accountability partner, you're likely gonna get an accountability partner who's on your same level. So what are you guys being accountable to if you don't know what you're doing?
Both of y'all struggling.
Yeah, right. It don't make sense. That when people say I need an accountability partner, that just means I want somebody to help me, but I don't want to pay for the services. That's what it means when I hear it, at least. So if you, more of the story is, if you can afford a coach, then definitely invest in one and lock into the process. Don't expect that investment just to magically change everything. I think people get a dopamine hit from investing, but then they don't follow through on the work. Yeah. So next thing that I wanted to touch on was, when it comes to like posting your stuff, posting your journey, your clients on social media, like, how did you get started with that? And what was that process like over the last couple of years?
For me personally, I'd never planned on, I had no plans on saving nobody. I was just trying to save myself when I first started, just being honest. Okay. Wasn't studying nobody but myself. Okay. So, so when I started back in 2018, and I decided I was going to make some changes and really get in there and do the work, I just shared a little bit, just a little bit here and there. Again, it was never my plan to become a coach or any of the sorts. I was trying to save myself. But I just started. I believe in authenticity. So what you see is what you get. The same coach you see here is going to be the same coach you see in person or whatever. But I just started sharing and being very transparent and open and honest about my journey, not sugarcoating anything, because again, my goal is not to sell a dream. It's to help you to look in the mirror and be like, okay, girl, you're the problem. Let's go. Right. But I just started sharing and posting, and people like to see what I found is people like real, they like raw, they like honest. They don't want to see highlight reels all the time or the good. They want to see that grimy, if that's the best terminology, because this is what life really looks like. You know what I mean? And I think that the more I did that, and just sharing women that have been or that were in the same situations, it's just relatable to a lot of women. It doesn't matter how much weight you have to lose, but it instills hope that they can too do this, you know, by taking a more holistic approach, if that's what they decide to do. So really, that's how I started. And even now, my strategy is really the same. I just try to put humor in it, because I'm not really a serious person. You know, I'm serious, but I believe you gotta laugh at yourself. And when I started laughing at myself and like all the stupid stuff I used to do to lose weight, like it just became so much better. Cause I'm like, girl, like you was really mad just stepping on a scale and you only lost a half a pound. Like you used to do some dumb stuff. Or I would look at old workout videos and be like, what the hell? Like, what, girl, that form was terrible. You know, I wasn't embarrassed by it, it was more comical. But that's important also. I think you have to have a sense of humor in this space. You can't be serious all the time. Like you're going to be miserable if you are. You have to learn to laugh at yourself, laugh at the situation, laugh at some things, and just because it makes it a lot more enjoyable. You know what I mean? And it just makes it easier. So I just mix humor and into educating and teaching, because I think it's important. And it actually is relatable to a lot of people, because it just be like, I'm really out here tripping.
For sure.
Right. So
yeah, you've got some. I mean, of course,
some funny stuff.
I'm always commenting on your post, and we're always talking behind the scenes, because like I know there's like I can't find them now, but you have some posts. Didn't you like dress up as like a dinosaur or like wear like weird hats and stuff? But it's like your brand, and like you spoke on like the comedy aspect mixed with the serious, like that's what I love like about you. And I remember I used to always see your posts, but then I would see other people posting it, and I would go back and watch, and I'm like, this is so fucking funny, but it's so relatable.
It's real.
Right.
You know, it's like she's telling the truth, and you're getting through to people. You know, so I kind of want to still keep the topic on how you built what you've built. But if we take a look, like you have 55,000 something followers. So you talked about like keeping it authentic, real and raw, but comedic. But was there a specific strategy that you used as you noticed primarily your Instagram start to go up? Like what was that process like when you started to see that, like, you know, like people are really, you know, tapping into you?
I wouldn't necessarily say a strategy. I just say consistency. That's it. I believe in taking inspired action. I don't believe in perfection. I don't like to overthink anything. I could just be sitting here. I could be making broccoli. I don't know. If I have an intrusive thought, I'm going to do it. Like, and I don't care what anybody thinks. If you don't like it, keep scrolling. But the people that I'm supposed to connect with are going to connect. I think if we can get over that, and I've never, I remember when I first started, I used to be like, oh my God, no, people are going to think I don't give a crap anymore. I don't care. I post what I want. If it's funny to me, then I'm like, well, somebody will get my humor. Not everybody gets my humor. Sometimes it's offensive to people, but I guess for me, I just put it out there. And if it'll reach who it needs to reach. My intentions, my motives are always pure and good. So I believe in the thing for the good of all to the harm to none. And if that's the foundation of what I am posting or whatever it is, then that's it. However somebody perceives it is not my business. But I take inspired action. I don't. I just recently got into planning things out because, again, when it comes to social media content and just having certain times I want to, or how many times I want to be active on these platforms. Because again, I have a whole busy life outside of Coach E, right? With children and other responsibilities. So that helps me plan a little bit more. But other than that, social media is just what it is. I just push the button. I don't overthink anything. I just keep it simple. If I got something to say, I'm going to say it. And then, yeah, that's honestly, that's the strategy. That's just what I do. And I clap for everybody. I love everybody. I want to see everybody win, especially those of you like you that are in my field that really are trying to help people and not talking nonsense. Like, yeah, let's go. But yeah, that's what I do. I just don't care what anybody thinks. I'm just me, and what you see is what you get. If we connect, let's work. Let's have fun. Let's laugh.
So I know you said it's your thoughts that come to you that for your post, right? So one of your last posts, right? The stressful day and you got to hit your protein with the powder one, where you slide down the wall.
Yes.
How did you come up with that one though? Because that one was hilarious.
Okay. Okay. So here's if you want, here's what I try to do. I always, if I see something that inspires me, because social media can be inspiring depending on what side of the algorithm you're on, right? So there is this one going around. Now that one came from this. There's one that's similar going around where people are like, long day, bad day, whatever. And I don't smoke or I don't drink. Well, I don't do any of those things either. So that's not going to be something that's relatable to my audience. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'll just throw in some protein because I am low on my protein right now as we speak. So I need to go make a protein shake. So you know what? Let's put a spin on this. So I was literally, it was really sweet and delicious, by the way, rubbing it on my gums like crack, but whatever, this is neither here nor there. But so I was like, before I make this shake, let's just go and pop and just do this 10 seconds, whatever. But I got it in one take because it was a stressful day because y'all know coaching ain't always easy. Okay.
We can talk about it now. We can talk about that side.
Listen.
Having to reroute people and.
Yes. And just, yeah, so it was a little bit of a heavier day on that day I made that reel. And I was like, girl, you still got to get that protein goal. So I'm laughing at myself because I tell my girls this all the time. So that's where that came from, because I was literally in the middle of laughing at myself like it don't even matter because you still got to show up and do what you need to do. And then that just happened to be there. And I was like, okay, whoop, let's go do this. And then you're going to go make this protein shake. And then, yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
I can dig it.
So I very much live a lot of what you guys see, my funny stuff, is it really be about me most of the time, or an experience with the client. But that's why I say I laugh at myself all the time, like past experiences that I may have had on my journey, just especially when I first started trying to figure it out. I'm not talking about anybody specifically. Most of the stuff is about myself or a previous version of me, or some kind of client experience or something of the sort. And I'm very transparent with my girls. So if they see something like, Coach, you talk about me? Yes.
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 It's okay. It's all love.
I didn't say your name, but yes.
You and the million other people out there. I think fitness is so relatable. Like the thoughts we have that we think is just us. Yeah. I think we all can relate to it at some point.
Yes.
So I just think it's whether or not you find the humor in it.
Yes.
People probably see it and be like, that's triggering. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Keep scrolling.
The question is, why are you triggered? Yeah, because life is but a mirror, right?
Come on.
Exactly. You mentioned, Dom, you have something else about social media? Because I wanted to ask her about something else she said.
Nope.
You mentioned getting mad when you step on the scale, you only lost 0.5 of a pound. I feel like there's so much content regarding whether you should step on a scale daily, if you should throw away the scale, all these things. What are your thoughts on that? Because I feel like if you actually want to have a certain physique, at some point you do have to start paying more attention to the scale. You can't just ignore it and be vibing through life. So like, what are your thoughts on that, and how do you educate your clients?
Well, I have a few different approaches depending on where they are from a psychological standpoint, right? Outside of this, I'm also like a life coach, so I understand a lot of the mental things. Because again, I've been there, so I know how it works. But I always make it clear, if you don't face it, you will never overcome it, right? From myself personally, the reason I avoided the scale a lot when I first started is because I didn't want to face my own mess. I didn't want to look in the mirror because I knew I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. It's just that sometimes the scale just showed me the truth. So I think a lot of times it's avoiding the truth. So sometimes the approach I take is this. I'll always ask, how is your relationship with the scale? If they tell me it's fine, they don't mind weighing every day. And again, it's just collecting data. This doesn't tell the full story, then they'll weigh every day. If they say it's okay, sometimes it's triggering, I'll say, okay, well, we're going to weigh once a week, right? But I try to meet them where they are, but you're still going to step on that scale unless we have a deeper problem that may require some kind of therapy of counseling or something of the sorts, which we get to the root of if that's the case. But I always let them know you will see consistent progress. Daily fluctuations we know are going to happen. However, what we look at is the trend more so than the day-to-day things.
I think right there, that's one of my biggest key points, because I like to have my clients, for the most part, track every day. Like for the same things, if you, like how you said, I rather you track every day or once a week or however we're going to do that, because at the end of the day, we're looking for data and trends.
Yes.
Because for the most part, if you take 52 weeks and you track every 7 days, you're going to see, for the most part, if you're following the program, the results that you want are going to be in those trending marks. But you can't get them unless you get the data. So for me, I'm not going to say I'm against the whole, because there is a big push now where everybody's like, oh, girl or guy, so I don't get in trouble here, throw the scale away. When I threw the scale away, you threw the scale away and you're still fat. That data point, no children or animals were harmed in the production of this podcast. That data point is something that you definitely needed and could have used.
Yes.
Right. There's nothing, like you said, there's nothing. It's very important.
Yeah. It doesn't tell the full story, because as a coach, we know what body recomp looks like. You're doing all the things, especially if you're strength training, you're doing the things that really transform the body. But again, it is important because even though you don't like the scale, it does act as a form of accountability, right? So if you've been in them streets acting up, don't get on the scale expecting it to read something other than what you've been doing.
Because you knew that before you got your big ass on the scale. You knew before, but you want to be mad at the scale for a justification.
Correct.
And I always try to go back and tell clients, like, they be like, oh, I'm 186 today. I didn't know what you weighed unless you told me, but you look great. Your pants are fitting better. Awesome. You're leaner. You ran a mile faster. Like those, you PR'd in the gym.
Yes.
Like, those are things that matter way more, but that scale is so necessary because it tells a piece of the story.
Correct. And again, I try to relate it as we're collecting data, because I'm going to look at the trend, because I need to see you trending down, right? Because look, I'm just going to be real transparent. If we 300 pounds,
you ain't recomping.
Ooh, so
if you got 20 or more pounds to lose, you're not recomping.
It's going to be a trend.
So that's where I was going next. I slowed down on the road because it was a deer, but that's where I was going next.
I'm just saying, because sometimes we be out here playing.
Their body recomping when they need to be in a fat loss phase.
Yes, correct.
I understand that is the big, I'm recomping. You need to be in fat loss.
Correct.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Because what you and this is with love, and regardless of how you feel about me, what you think is thick is fat.
Correct.
Or obese, however you want to term it.
Yeah.
And it's like you're over here saying,
stop smiling because
I just want to lose my weight. Come on now. Come on. You just want to lose your waist? The workouts you do and how that wrestling suit fitting you determined that was a lie.
Correct. Yeah, and then this is the kind of look back in the day, like for real, when I first, this would have hurt my feelings, but the truth will set you free if you allow it to. And this is the kind of truth that women need to hear. I'm sorry.
But so when you say that, it's the truth that women need to hear. And we're speaking to women right now. Women, I'm not saying that men don't need it too, because that's a whole different discussion we could go on to, because we tripping too. But what's the best way to tell somebody?
Transparency.
So why is that so hard for, I'm gonna say all of us, and especially the Black community? I know this is gonna be worldwide, but why is it so hard for us as a people to accept that? Because everybody wants to say, oh, you're talking shit about me, or you hurting my feelings, or you want the real and raw for everything else, but not your health.
Mm-hmm. I think honestly, from this aspect, is because of how collectively we've been raised, right?
Talk about it.
So for me, growing up, with my family dynamics, or you're thick, or being obese was fine. It was the normal. Or you're just thick. You just, this is fine. You're made, your whole family is thick, right?
Big bone.
Big bone. There
I'm
you
not
go.
fat and big bone.
Because my dad still swore I'm big bone after losing 120 pounds. I'm like, Dad, my bones were never big, sir. Like there weren't. So your grandma, baby. So I think was more so acceptable in our community. So now trying to even with your family members having certain like getting type 2 diabetes or just certain things, it still was made to be acceptable because this is just how it is. So I think going in now, when you've been conditioned and programmed to think a certain way for so long, even now what you see on social media, being ill, I'm thick, I'm just, all these different things, instead of looking at things from a health standpoint, it's a challenge to dismantle the limiting beliefs, right? It's a challenge from a mental standpoint because this is just how it's always been, or this is what I accepted for myself. Whenever somebody accepts something to be true for themselves, it's going to be hell and high water to change that, right? Because more than likely, what they are taking in, the information, it fits their perspective, their narrative, right? Because we're going to always, as humans, gravitate towards things that align with our ideologies, right? So if I go on your algorithm and you think that, okay, yeah, I'm obese, but it's cool to be thick, it's acceptable as all this, then that's what's going to be programmed to your algorithm. That's all you're going to see. So now I'm going to accept that more. But unless you step outside of the box and you look at yourself as an individual and take ownership and understand it does not have to be this way, and stop allowing outward things to influence what you truly want for yourself, because people don't really think. They just want to be a part of something, right? It's easier for me to accept being a part of something and agree with something, even though deep internally I don't want to, than it is to actually take ownership and change. This is where psychology, this is when the mental part comes in at, right? Like I could have said, yeah, I'm just big boned. Yeah. It was easy to say I was big boned.
And what you said right there is it was easy, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to stay out of shape, stay obese, say, oh, I just got to lose these 15 pounds, when really it's a good 30, 40, right? Yeah. It's easy to say, oh, I'm just thick. It's easy to say, oh, I want to get off the high blood pressure medicine. It's easy to say, oh, I can't afford that, right? But when doctors or whatever tell us that, hey, you need this or you're going to die, then that fucking light bulb goes off.
Yes.
So and that's my biggest thing, especially from a societal standpoint, definitely in the Black community, because I wasn't raised eating the healthiest of foods. I grew up on, processed foods and honey buns and shit for breakfast. And a lot of my family members are no longer living due to some of the health choices and things that they made. But where I want to steer this now, same direction. But I don't know if you guys have seen it, but have you guys, have you guys seen like I know there's like some certifications out now too. Don't quote me because somebody was telling me about it. But like to be a fat trainer or a thick trainer, like what is your thought process or feeling? Because we're in that whole body positivity realm.
I hate body positivity.
It's
That's some
stupid.
bullshit.
It
Talk
keeps
on
That's
it.
dumb as hell.
Talk on it.
I think the whole fat or thick training thing, I've never heard of that, and I don't never want to hear no shit like that again. But
right.
I think that if there's nothing wrong with having more like muscle. I feel like like I want to be like when I got down to 125 and I didn't like how small I was, but I also didn't have a lot of muscle on me. So I think there's nothing wrong with wanting to have more like meat on you in terms of like healthy, lean tissue. But I don't think that people are actually approaching it in the way that actually gives you that outcome. I think when people are saying thick, they're not saying thick in terms of muscle. They're just saying like thick in terms of having less body fat from where they are now, but still being under muscled. So I think that's the discrepancy. And I think that's where people need to kind of like change the outcome, because depending on how much muscle you do have, it's going to look different on different like body structures. But I do think that we need to that's why we need to look at things as a big picture, like scale weight, body fat, waist to hip ratio, health in terms of like blood pressure, heart rate, all of those things. If we can improve those, then you are likely going to look the way you should look with your body structure. But I think the whole fit and thick that you just said, I don't agree with it. And it just seems like bodybuilding in terms of just for like fat people who don't want to address the true problem. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't like it. And body positivity also I think is insane, because I think it has went too far. People say body positivity is like loving your body at any size, but if you actually loved your body, you wouldn't want to be accepting those things. You would be loving it and trying to change it and loving it in the process. And I think that's not what body positivity is. Like that whole situation with the girl who the airline wanted her to buy another seat, and people was like, that's messed up. No, she should buy another seat. And if you don't want to, get your own plane. That's how I feel. I think that whole situation is insane. And I just think it just promotes lack of accountability, which we're seeing in society in general, like soft parenting, in the education systems. And then I think is going into fitness as well. So those are my takes on it. I don't like it, and I would love to hear you guys.
Yeah, I agree with you, Keone, 1,000% on that. Like, I've never been a part of the body positivity thing because of how it is put out there. I believe that you should love yourself and like yourself enough to change, to improve. Yes. That's a difference, right? With the whole thick trainer, I just think this is another way to prey on women's insecurities. Honestly, it's just another way for another form of marketing. Because I step back and I see the big picture. I try to understand trends, which helps me to understand how people think that actually go for these things, right? So sure, it's going to do well because of how people think, but it's not going to produce them the results that they think it's going to produce them. A thick trainer, what? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. What are we doing? Are we building muscle? Right? Are you saying you're just a bigger woman that has more to love, that needs to work out, that needs a trainer? Like, are we saying we're coaching people that are more obese and teaching them how to move? Like, that's different, right? Because we know that people that carry more excess weight on them, they're not going to be able to move as fluently as someone that doesn't when they're approached. So yes, we have to make modifications. But when you say thick trainer, in my mind, I think, okay, well, a trainer that trains girls that want to be thick, but
and stay thick.
Yeah,
what am I paying you for?
That's the contradiction to my brain. Like,
right now, noted, we're not talking about like if you're doing a sport for like powerlifting and things like that. We're talking from the aesthetic standpoint, right? Because I know I'm letting them talk on this aspect, so I don't get in trouble. So somebody says that I'm shamming or whatever. But that's a huge topic right now.
I think it's good that you mentioned that though, because for some sports, I think there is benefit to having more weight on you, right? The more
Definitely.
weight you have, the more, of course, you're going to be able to produce. But I think from an aesthetic standpoint and just the marketing that goes into saying you're a thick trainer or trainer for thick women, I don't think that clientele is focused on performance. I think it's more so
Correct.
aesthetic based.
Right.
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 And if we're talking aesthetic based, then I think you're just helping people improve their physique. I don't think there's anything different. I just think they're preying on, like you said, preying on a specific demographic, and I don't think that it's going to be sustainable.
Right. And I think also another thing that women need to understand, please hear me when I say this. Okay.
Talk to them.
Look, your genetics play a huge role in how your body shapes out. Okay. Just because she has a big donkey back there naturally does not mean you're going to have a big donkey too when you build. Okay. And I think this is something that I see a lot of. I get messages all the time. Hey, can you help me look like this? No, I can't. I don't care what you do. You're not going to look like that because your skeletal frame is different. Y'all have completely different genetics. And she naturally has that. You have a pancake. You have a box. It's not going to look like that. She's been carrying that thing since she was 10.
But if you are struggling and you want to go from pancake to peach, you definitely can jump into Dump Truck Academy. Shameless plug. I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying, you know what I'm saying? Because
yeah,
honestly,
you can make improvements. You can build your body to the best of your genetics.
Your genetics, yes.
Your genetics, right? So again, with the thick trainer, like we need to think about this. Right? Because again, a lot of body modifications, like a lot of stuff just isn't natural anymore that we see on social media. And we need to be able to use discernment when we're talking about this, to be realistic. You know what I mean?
Be thick like oatmeal now.
I do think though, what people don't realize is like talking about building a butt or building glutes. People don't realize that the look that you have from your glutes, like girls who have fat asses or whatever you want to call it, a lot of it is not just muscle, it's also fat being stored there. So fat storage is largely genetic, right?
Yes.
And if you want to talk about building glutes, your glutes are not a peach shape. It looked like a butterfly. Like if you actually pull up some bodybuilder glutes, you're gonna realize you probably don't want those glutes.
Right.
Correct. You're more so talking about having fat around your glutes, which is not something that you can really control. Yes, you could eat in the surplus or eat in maintenance and hope to build fat there, but it may not play out like that for you, which I think is the truth people don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And also, most don't really want to grow their glutes because they don't want to fucking eat either.
Right.
Everybody wants to be in a fucking deficit all the time.
Right.
But I want to grow my glutes, eating cucumber salads and watermelon. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Basically. Yeah. So I think it just comes, and that's why I think it's important to actually educate your clients. Like, yes, we can try to achieve this look, but we're gonna do it the best we can, but it may not be like that for you based on your genetics, your body structure, and also depending on what timeline you want to do that in.
Right.
And I think I always like to bring up bodybuilders because I think it's amazing what they do. And like, they are literally the epitome of like shaping your physique. If it takes them phases 100%. Of like cutting, eating at maintenance, eating in the surplus to get the physique that they have, why do you think that you can build muscle and lose fat in a deficit all the time?
Right. And Kiani, you said something key: phases.
Ooh, talk to them.
Phases. It's not true. It's never this. It's surplus, deficit. It's phases, and you have to be willing and ready mentally. If you really want to build the body or physique you want, it's gonna be different phases. Yeah.
People love to not want to go through them or skip them. They want to automatic. Hey, I'm cutting. I'm bulking. I'm cutting. I'm bulking.
That's why recomp is so big though, because it gives you that's why recomp is so big. Yeah. It's like a buzzword because it gives you the false illusion that you're going to build muscle and lose fat all at the same time. When for most people, they think they're recomping when really they're just in a fat loss phase.
Yes.
Retaining muscle. If you actually got a DEXA scan or MRI, it will show you that yes, your percentages may have changed, but the absolute value of your fat tissue compared to muscle it's not going to be different on the muscle side. It's just your fat lowered.
Right.
And now the percentage of muscle is higher, but that number didn't get any bigger, just percentages. So I think when you break it down like that, people are surprised, but I do think people need that reality check because it's going to save them a lot of time of trying the wrong things. And at the end being like, hey, it didn't work for me. It's not that it didn't work for you. It's just that you didn't take the right phases, take the right.
Well, they get the reality check. They just don't want to accept it. That's most of them. Because like you said, they don't want to go through the phases. Because it's you mean I got to do this for the rest of my life? You might fucking have to. You came over here at 290 with 55% body fat. Now I got to change that in 10 days? Stop.
Yeah.
You're right.
Elena, can you tell us about how your EG Fit app works?
Yes. So EG Fit, I program everything, right? The foundation of my program is strength training because that's what really women really want, even though they don't know it yet, right? So I program everything from the habits, the structured training, the calendars, because I believe in, even if you don't believe that you can achieve this goal, if you just focus on checking those boxes and the actions, you're going to get to said goal. And eventually when you're seeing those results, it's going to click, right? Because a lot of women, they don't believe they really can. I'm just like, show up, check your boxes. It's fully programmed. So, and we also have our own food tracking systems like my MFP. So I focus largely on the day-to-day habits, right? I'm a numbers person. So I look at the data. I don't go by, I tell them really, I don't care what you say. I'm going to go look at your stats.
Oh, how do they take that? Because when I do that, I'm the big bad wolf.
I don't care how they take it.
Love it.
Like, because look, you came to me, you're coming to me for help, right? I'm always going to empathize and understand things that happen in life. But as someone that cares about you and your results that you get, I have to tell you the truth. And the truth sometimes is going to hurt your feelings. It hurts mine too to tell you the truth. I don't want to sit here and watch you cry. Okay. But again, this is what you need, because for so many years before coming to me, you weren't producing results because nobody was telling you the truth. Right. So you need somebody to, people that hold you accountable and hold your ass to the flame. They are the ones that you need. That's the ones that love you, because we can see, Kiani, you guys can attest that you're visionary. So when somebody comes to you, you can see in the future. If they keep going, you see it, right? You're visionary. So we have to be visionaries for them. And as a visionary for your clients, this requires you to show up as a coach and tell them the truth. I don't care how you take it. That's not my job. That's not why you hired me. You hired me to get you the results and to change your life. And unfortunately, or fortunately, that's part of the process, the pain points. But you're going to thank yourself. You'll thank me. I don't care if you thank me, but you'll be proud of yourself and thank yourself when you get to say goal. So I believe in simplicity. I don't overcomplicate anything at all. If it's too complicated, you're not going to be able to sustain it, or you're not going to be able to adhere to it. So again, I just make it simple. I help people get results on the bare minimum. I'm not a coach that says, you coming in, you're going to do everything 7 days a week, hardcore. No, because if I can convince you and show you that you can get results by doing the bare minimum, eventually the light bulb is going to go off and you're going to say, wait a minute, if I actually put in a little bit more effort, I'm going to produce more results. Yes. Yes. So now your bare minimum 3 days a week of strength training turns into 4.
Come on.
Now, okay, well, maybe I'll just walk a little bit more. 10 more minutes a day or 30 minutes a day. And so when you start to see that action produces results, you're going to be motivated to do more. And that's the approach that I take with my clients. Because if you come in and it's like, okay, 7 days a week, 5 days a week, 30 minutes walking a day, hit your protein, it's going to be overwhelming because you're not doing it now. So I base my whole entire app experience on building the momentum, and I also give them the option to do live workouts with me. So we do interval training as well. So I make it to where they have zero excuses not to show up to do anything at all. I don't want to hear your excuses. I believe in all or something, not all or nothing. So I don't care if you can't do your 30-minute workout. Can you do 10 squats? Can you do 10 push-ups? Okay, because what this does is it creates, it's not about the physical things. It's creating a mindset to be solution focused versus excuses. So that's that. But yeah, that's how I do mine. It's based on structured strength training. We do have a full on-demand library with different workouts that you can do with me or Coach Mo, which is more low impact. And then everything is there from nutrition. 1 second. From nutrition to everything else. And I just make it as simple as possible so that we have no excuses. If you're not doing it, you just don't want to.
Period. We'll definitely link that in the description. But before you go, I know your kids are knocking on your door, but give us one thing you want viewers to take away from this conversation.
Hold on, viewers. You said give them one thing. Oh, one thing, just start. Don't worry about the big picture, right? Just start. And an analogy that I use is we know the goal. You know what your end goal is. So you set the goal, which is going to be in the future. From here, you just focus on the consistent daily habits that's in between where you are now and your outcome that you desire. So you set the goal, forget about the goal, don't compare yourself to the goal, and just take the day-to-day habits. But the only way that you're going to get there is if you take action consistently, even if it's imperfect action, because most of your actions are going to be imperfect, but it's still motion. Anything in motion, right? Moving forward is going to eventually get you to set goal and give yourself a lot of grace because you're going to need it.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So in closing, where can those that may want to reach out to you for, more education, programming, follow you? Where can people find you?
Pretty much on all platforms. I'm on Instagram a lot and TikTok is all Elena Green _fitness. Or you can shoot me an email at elenagreenfitness@gmail.com. And I'm very responsive. So yeah, if you can shoot me a message on any of those platforms. You can go on Google and type in Elena Green. You'll see me. It's not hard to find me. And then I'll respond. And then I'll, point you in the right direction.
Awesome. We'll drop that down below. But we definitely thank you for coming on the No BS Fitness Prescription Podcast. And yes, we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yes, it's been great. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to doing it again.
Awesome.
Perfect. All right. See you guys later.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.